Hi. The reason for my video today is I recently had someone attack me in regards to the stuff that I post. And they went as far as saying that I was doing things for others for attention and that I had no business leading people to believe that um, I could inspire them. So I thought I'd address that. So I'm going to give you all a little bit of information about myself and my background just to kind of make sense of why I post the things that I post and why I enjoy doing the things that I enjoy. So first things first is my upbringing. I was born to immigrant parents that split when before I was born actually. So I was raised by a single parent, and my mother did the best that she could under the circumstances of raising my brother and I alone. And, she did her very best. With that said, she also is paranoid schizophrenic. So she was unable to guide, protect, and nurture us because she was dealing with her own shit. So when I was 4 years old, I was actually taken away by the state because I was outside playing by myself with no parental, guidance or protection. And I was taken away, and once my mom got me back, I was pretty much told that it was my fault, that I needed to stay inside and I needed to make sure that no one ever knew what was actually going on with, the neglect and the hardship. So I was taught to keep a lot of horrible things a secret to protect my mother. And so I did so. And my brother and I really had to learn how to fend for ourselves and really grew up really quickly because of the circumstances. So we grew up in poverty and not having anything. We'd wait in line for free food, for sack lunches. During the summer, we wouldn't eat. If I didn't go to school, I wasn't getting a meal. During the summers, I'd go find friends or family, that had food or, a little bit of security, and I'd go hang out, and I would keep a lot in so that it wouldn't be known, what was going on. So no one knew that my mom was schizophrenic. No one knew that my mom was in the mental institution again. No one knew that, we struggled to put food on the table. And I got really good at hiding who I was and keeping things in because at a young age, I was pretty much told it was my fault. So I hid a lot of who I was inside. And in my teen years, I fell into a really deep depression, and I started to struggle with coping more and more. So I attempted suicide a couple of times actually. And I came to my senses realizing that I could take control of my future in a different way. So I had a boyfriend that I just felt I was so in love with, and I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. And I was raised Mormon, so we believed that being married young is normal. If you're in love with someone, you don't date them, you marry them. That's how you know it's real. So I was married really young and a parent really young. I was 17 years old, and of course it didn't work out. We were too young and we were learning who we were. I had made the decision that I wanted to take control of our future, finances and environment and things like that. So I decided to go to college, and my husband didn't like that. So he decided to leave me so that I would, get in line, and that didn't work. So I decided to get a divorce very young. My son was 2, and I decided that I would be okay raising my son alone. If my mom could do it, I could do it. And I started my first business when I was 19. My brother convinced me that it was in my best interest as far as location and what we were going for. And it was a hard lesson. 3 years of trying to make something work, very expensive rent. It was hard. So I decided to try it again at 23. I had not only my second salon, but got a liquor license, and I became a club owner. Again, my brother's bright idea. Asked me to help him out for a year, and it ended up turning into 7 years of owning a salon and a club. Again, very hard. Learned a lot of different things about myself and people. And towards the end of this, I realized that I wanted a different relationship with my son, not just spoiling him, not just spending time with him when we were spending money, but actually getting to know each other at another level was what I wanted out of my life. So I decided to not only cut ties with my family who wanted me to continue with the businesses and the lifestyle, but I decided to just really focus on my personal growth and mold my son into a productive member of society. So that really meant taking away my financial burdens, my assets, which I thought defined me at the time, because the way I was raised and how I grew up, that was your worth if you had a position, if you had a title, if you had an income. So I decided that I wanted to be bigger than that, and I let it all go. And it was so hard. Not only did I disappoint my family, but I had a lot of judgment. I had a lot of people labeling me and discussing what was going on in my life, and the only way for me to deal with that was cutting ties from everybody. I changed my phone number. I moved to an area that I knew I wouldn't run into anybody I knew from the past, or, just so I can figure out what I wanted and make my life what I wanted it to be. And I did so. My son excelled in everything he did. He won a lot of competitions. He got a lot of awards and medals and recognition, and got into the IB program in high school. So he started doing college classes and was accepted into some programs with college that were business. And that was wonderful. It was what we needed. So I decided to become a stylist again. I took about 1.5 years off of that. I decided to go back into the career that I loved because I missed the connection with my clients. And I started off at a corporation that wasn't, a busy place. It wasn't, walk-ins type of environment, but I really wanted to challenge myself and see if I was really as great as I thought I was. I had been a salon owner for 10 years, so I was essentially self-proclaimed because I was my own boss. So I really wanted to see if I could pick up, any new information, or, just kind of see how corporate did it. So I started with no clients. I started making minimum wage. Within 3 months, I hit my first raise. Shortly after that, the last raise that a corporation would allow. And then I wanted to know what was next, which was winning trips. So I won my first trip when it came to color sales. And within the second year, they did a premier salon competition. And there were about 40,000 employees throughout the nation, and I was 15th. And that's when I knew that I actually was as good as I thought I was, and that I would be successful if I opened another company. So I did so, and that's where I am today, 3.5 years later. So I'm proud to say that I'm still going. And the difference now is that I've created an environment that empowers women, shows women not only how to love themselves, but really enjoy their environment with positivity, not gossip, solution-oriented discussion, and really support each other. And that's the environment that I'm in now. And that is why, I'm always posting positive stuff, and I'm always, showing what I do in the community, because I was that kid in line waiting for free food. I was someone that relied on handouts from others that actually made me feel like I was cared about beyond the environment that I was in. I didn't believe the lie where I was told that I would never be good enough, that, I'd be a statistic, and, I'd be in poverty the rest of my life. I just never bought that. I was told some horrible things about who I was, what I was capable of. And, I never allowed it to become my identity. I took control over what my identity would be and is. And I just kind of wanted to share some of that with you. So if I'm posting something positive, I hope it's a message that you needed. If I'm posting something that I'm doing in the community, it's because I want you to know where to go when your heart says to you, when God comes to you and says, help others. I want you to know where you can go to, serve and impact. It's a very well organized, effective, efficient way of doing things for the community and giving back. That's what I do, and that's why I do it. And I just wanted to share that information with you all.